Welcome back to the second installment of our video reviews covering brand new movies for 2026. I'm your host, Austin, and joining me today talking about 2020 technically five's Obsession is Derek, or HFK. How we doing?
Doing wonderful. I am so glad you decided to speak with me about this movie because it has not left my head in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. How far out are we now? 3 weeks?
3 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks. It has lingered in my brain parts for so long, and not in a bad way, just in a what the fuck way. So we have no plan here. And this is the fun part about these video reviews. I mean, I have like notes and shit. I don't know how much I'm going to use these, but Obsession is, man, it's dominating right now. I believe last time I checked, I'll go to Box Office Mojo since you made me aware of that one here. Can't believe I hadn't heard of that
I was
before.
honestly very shocked that you had not heard of it before.
It is run by IMDb Pro, so I feel like I heard the name before, but I've never personally used it. So let's check out where Obsession is currently standing. And I typed in the Obsession. Fuck off. My God, it's one word, Austin. Get your shit together. There we go. All right, so horror romance thriller. All right, so on a budget of about $750,000 to $1 million, that's what it's estimated at. Domestically, it crossed the $100 million threshold, 104 million domestically, and almost 150 worldwide, which is what you call a home run. They made 150%, whatever
This is a
percentages.
fucking grand slam in a baseball term.
You know, you're not wrong. This is a grand slam. What am I talking about? Go to Denny's and you can find out what a grand slam is if they still exist. So, I mean, this man, God, Currybarker, what a mind. I suppose I'll just talk about kind of his background, I suppose, at least my history with him. So it's funny because I first came across his horror shorts on YouTube. The first one I saw was something called The Chair, which is a phenomenal 22-minute short. Then I saw Warnings. He's done a couple other ones. They're not all necessarily horror, but I saw those two and I was like, wow, this is impressive. And then 2024 came around and he released Milk and Cereal straight to YouTube on his channel. That's a bad idea. And one of my favorites of the year, I think it's on my honorable mentions of 2024, is a great found footage style movie. Did you happen to see Milk and Cereal?
Seen nothing of his.
Nothing of his. Oh, this is great. You can go back and kind of see his style and how he got to Obsession. But Milk and Cereal is an incredibly original idea for a YouTube, or for you. I mean, it was for YouTube, for a found footage style POV movie. It's only 62 minutes, but technically, from the Academy, anything over 40 minutes, it can be considered a feature length film. But Obsession is his, directorial, theatrical debut. But it's crazy because I had heard about this movie a while ago, and I specifically, since I knew it was from the mind of Currybarker, I saw the teaser trailer with the One Wish Willow, and then avoided everything else. I did not need to know any more information. I just saw Currybarker, and it was a movie coming to theaters. I was in. So tell me how you kind of heard about this one, and then what drew you to the theater.
So I saw the One Wish Willow trailer. I had heard of him. I've had multiple people in the past send me, "Oh, here, check out this short." And I went, "Yeah, I don't like YouTubers." And that was old man me yelling at cloud. I was like, whatever, I'm not doubting, even then I wasn't doubting that they were bad. It was just like, yeah, whatever. I don't have time for this shit. And yeah, now it's like, okay, I can totally see, without even seeing them, I can see why people were probably up in arms. Cause like my brother's been a Currybarker fan for years, even,
Okay.
but yeah, that's same for me. And then I was just like, you know what? It's a new horror movie. I'm going to go see it in theaters.
Yeah, and funny enough, he actually his channel, That's a Bad Idea, is mostly comedy sketches. I didn't even know he did like those kind of bits until doom scrolling on TikTok. I saw, oh shit, I was like, I know that face. That's Currybarker. And I was watching it and it was a comedy sketch and I said, does he do comedy? And I went to his page. Yeah, it's all comedy. Him and his friend Cooper. Cooper stars in Obsession. He's one of the main stars. And I was flabbergasted at the fact that this man doing the most, honestly, some of the funniest content on social media, also doing some of the most horrific horror movies and shorts. But looking back at it retrospectively, it almost fits into the theme of the past few years. I mean, look at Zach Kreger. He was from The Whitest Kids You Know, Barbarian. Look at Jordan Peele. Key and Peele making all of these horror movies. It's very interesting to me that people who have come from comedy backgrounds are now making some of the greatest horror movies within the past. Let's see, Nope was 20, or Get Out was 2016, I want to say.
Yeah, 16 or 17.
So in the past 10 years.
Yeah, and if you want to
and then
get really niche with it, the dudes who did Talk to Me were comedians first too. And that is...
Were they really?
And that's also, obviously, they started on YouTube as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so you even have them. And then even just this year for YouTube or video game adaptations, I mean, you've got Iron Lung for Markiplier, which was really good. You've got Exit 8, which isn't really a YouTuber. It's a game you can play. You got The Mortuary Assistant, another game adaptation. We got Resident Evil coming out this year. It is a massive year for YouTubers and video game adaptations, and I have not been disappointed by one yet. And I find that...
What's the background for Undertone? Was that... Because that was a directorial debut. Was he any sort of creator?
Not to my knowledge. Okay. I don't think he was, but as per usual, I usually look things up on the fly here. But that was a directorial debut, and that's one of my favorites of the year. That is definitely going to be on my top 10 list. The director is Ian Tuason, and he looks like he did one short, 2 shorts. But I don't. Let's search him up on YouTube and let's see if anything pops up. I don't believe he was, but he's also going to be doing the next installment of Paranormal Activity, the kind of the reboot that they're doing, and I'm here for it because Undertone was one of the just scariest movies for me this year. So let this guy have a crack at a Paranormal Activity movie. I'm ready for that.
It's a win for indie fucking horror already.
I mean, I'm already kind of done with the... I mean, and the plot line itself in Paranormal Activity stopped at 6, like everything's done. And then they did Next of Kin, which was tangentially related, but not really. So now it looks like we're kind of getting this fresh start, much like Insidious. What is it fucking called? Insidious, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is. They're doing the new Insidious. There's a new Insidious coming out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Past the further's coming into us.
Whatever. Yeah, that was fucking solid.
So that trailer, I was like, I'm in. So I'm loving that we're getting new ideas from existing franchises where they're not trying to cash grab and continue the story. We're just trying to do fresh ideas. So Ian Tuason on YouTube. And I got to get this name right because it is Tuason, filmmaker and author. He's got some interviews. He's got some short films. I mean, maybe he was it's entirely possible he was a YouTuber. I mean, he does have some short films, but he's not a creator. He's not like a Markiplier or a Currybarker. He just put some shorts on there. So we're in a very I think a very fascinating time for horror movies with all these new voices appearing within the past couple of years have been pretty, I wouldn't say shocking. It's just been more of like people getting into the game of who have a social media presence already, doing great. But I will hold on. Let me back up here. The only one that didn't work for me that was a YouTuber who made a horror movie was House on Eden. I'm sorry, Call Me Chris and Selena Spook. It's not good.
Yet to watch it because I just keep hearing bad.
It is worth the watch. It's just not good. It is very tropey. It has got some of the worst camera work I've seen, probably because Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo are doing most of the camera work. It's just kind of a plot that really is not explained enough. It's too ambiguous. I don't mind ambiguity, but when you have nothing explained, it's like, oh, what are we doing here? Like, what's the purpose of this movie? I need a little more context. Right. So, what about you? How do you feel about this kind of YouTuber craze with people jumping into horror movies?
I see nothing wrong with it. As you stated with others, it's a lot of people from comedy, worked their way into horror. It's oh, let me go blank for a second. Oh, but redo.
There we go.
Um, yeah, look at even stuff like Stephen King, like Thinner, kind of, just to throw out like other horror comedy things, like it's been happening for a long time. So it's like, it's not a surprise to see comedians who are clearly big into horror. Maybe that's what they
Right.
wanted to do, but it's easier for Currybarker to run around the streets with his friend Cooper and make short fucking funny videos because there's no budget needed.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that's kind of what it starts from, is this idea that, oh, we did a comedy bit and it was funny and it was well received. Let's keep doing this. And then they grew such a massive following. And obviously Curry Barker is very passionate about horror movies, as you can tell. And I think that just translated into him finally being able to get the means to do this movie. And what's actually crazy about Obsession is that it almost didn't get released because no one, from what I've read, a lot of studios didn't have faith that it would do well. And I sat back and thought, did you not read the script? Are we not on the same page that this is a pretty fresh fucking idea? It's basically taking the rule that the genie states in Aladdin, where he says, I can't make people fall in love because it messes with free will and emotion, and giving you the consequences of what happens when you wish for that. I mean, that's a pretty fucking original idea. So it's kind of baffling to me that studios didn't have faith in it. Luckily, Focus Features picked it up, bought it for $15 million, and now they're raking in money at this point. And so
funny enough, it wasn't even like the person who, before Sony got it, whoever approached him actually wanting to make a full-length version of The Chair, and he was like, no, I'm good. Here, check out the script for Obsession instead. Made this, and then, as you said, it fell on kind of deaf ears, and people were like,
right.
Which, I mean, who would have thought? I knew going into this movie that it would perform well, because I knew that Curry Barker had his following, and people were going to eat it up. Never in a fucking million years, Austin, would I have thought that I would see. You have to go out of your way to find negative reviews about this movie. Right. I have yet to scroll past anyone not being like, go see this fucking movie.
And to put it in perspective for people out there who, go based off of ratings, as I do, as you do, for a directorial theatrical debut, this movie is currently sitting at a 4.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which for a horror movie alone is fucking insane. I mean, The Godfather is a 4.5. So put that in perspective there. And then I think it's still holding strong at an 8.2 on IMDb. So over a 4 and over an 8 on both of those platforms is insane from a first-time director. I haven't checked the Rotten Tomatoes, and now I'm curious because I don't. I just it's a weird aggregate that they use to get their percentages. It's terrible. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, and that's why I never rely on it. But I am curious. I mean, look at this. This speaks volumes just because of how equal they are. 96% on the tomato meter and a 94% audience score. So critics and the audience agree this is the movie of the year. And I agree with that because it checked every box I had for a horror movie. I have these things that I would like to see in a horror movie. And I was just like, there's check 1, check 2, check 3. Obviously that we're going to be going into spoilers with this. There will be a warning in the description. So I'm audibly warning you now because some people don't read the description. We will be going into spoilers here, of course, but it just checked every single box for me and then some, especially with, one of, if not the bleakest ending in a horror movie, like outside of The Mist, maybe, because that one's fucking horrifying. That one's very hard to top, but the ending in this movie just
this ending might have topped that, dude. Like, I don't know.
I agree with you.
I will see, and this is what's great is you left the theater 5-5 right out the theater. I left the theater with this being like a 3 in my mind.
So let's talk about it. What changed? Where are we at now? Give me some details.
So we went to see it, and this is so little bit of backstory. I fucking love this tale. This is a tale as old as time at this point. It's 127 years ago that it was first written and published. I love anything that alters reality in a sense of like, and I do love time travel too, don't get me wrong, but like there's nothing that I love more than like that altered reality of like nobody else except the one person realizes what's going on. Stuff like the butterfly effect, shit like that. Always just had a really soft spot for it. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I went into this movie expecting the monkey's paw. I expected him to make the wish and she would be that, I don't want to say naggy in like a bad way, but she'd be that naggy, happy girl who's always with him. And all she's going to do is pick off the friends if they get too close to him. That was 100% what I expected from this, because that is the generic response you'd get from the monkey's paw. Oh, I wish somebody loved me more than anything in the world. Okay, yeah, I do.
Fucking, you got your wish, bitch.
And because I'm so like, because I love this story so much, it was that whole like, oh, you really like fucking changed this up on me. Because even the marketing for this movie was very strategic in the sense that you almost thought you were getting into a movie like that. The love notes on things, the why don't you love me? It gave way more vibes of that I'm going to be the cheery killer girlfriend and not this possessed fucking inner demon, outer demon. Oh my God. Like, and so, yeah, I originally left the theater thinking, nah, it wasn't for me. I didn't hate it. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was still a solid horror movie. And then about 7,000 conversations with my wife later, because Austin, you can ask her, I have not shut the fuck up. This movie comes out of my mouth at least once a day.
I love it.
So it was just like, the more I realized like the layers to the movie, like thinking back on it, I'm like, no, this is a fucking masterpiece, with the exception of, I don't do dead animals. So unfortunately it can't get a full 5 for me, maybe a 4.9. I'll take away just 0.1 for that. But yeah, no, I'm flabbergasted, honestly. Such a young, inspiring story, really, and slightly jealous, because I always thought that, by thought I mean hoped, that I would have at 26 been where Currybarker is. So kudos to him. It's fucking awesome. I'm so happy to see it. And if you didn't see the news today, it is no longer coming out on digital. They have extended to keep it in theaters.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, get that money. I mean, fucking get all the money. I don't blame them at all. I do hope we get a physical release. I think with how well it's done, I don't think it's very far-fetched to think Focus will put out, I don't even care if it's a Blu-ray. Ultimately, Steelbook 4K. It's a very
Umbrella,
high hope
Arrow,
me.
I don't care. I'll fucking take a DVD if that's what you fucking sucker me down to, but
yeah, whatever you want to give me is fine. But yeah, I totally understand them keeping it in theaters. I mean, it's doing so well. It's an indie production, and it's raking in the money. And now it has become one of the most profitable horror movies ever to be made. Because I think, we'll fact check it now, because I know the first Paranormal Activity was made for about $1 million as well, or maybe even less. And that is outside of the Blair Witch Project, one of, if not the most profitable movies in terms of budget to what they made worldwide. Because nothing's going to top the Blair Witch. They made that for like $500,000 or like $50,000 or whatever dollars, and they made $247 million worldwide. It's going to be really hard to top that. but I know Paranormal Activity is up there in terms of budget to profit. So let's see here. Scrolling down on IMDb, we've got a budget of, oh my God, okay. Wow, I was way off. A budget of 15,000 and it grossed 193 million. So, okay, well, let me reel that back there. So, between Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, and now Obsession, these are, you know, three of just the most profitable movies, all made by indie directors. I think, I don't know if this was, because the director Oren Peli has had his hand in film for quite some time, but I don't know if this was necessarily his first feature. It's entirely possible it might have been, and it was. So yes, this was his first. So you've got three first-time movies from these people, just gangbusters, and I find that interesting. And two of them found footage, one of them obviously not, which is totally fine. But man, to make a movie on such a small budget and get that much money just says so much about people needing. Sometimes you got to take that chance, and you know what I mean.
Agreed.
Like if you can get a movie for, I mean, $15 million to someone like Focus Theaters or Focus Films, it can't be that much. I know they're not a huge studio,
We're
but
an
in the
offset
grand
of
scheme of
Sony.
things.
Come on, they got plenty of money.
Oh, well then, okay, then they've got plenty of money. So it's just interesting that people were skeptical of this. And I bet every single person who didn't take the chance on this is just bashing their head into the wall or steering wheel, if you will, over and over and over again, because man, did they fuck up. So
dude, there were three old ladies behind us when we went to see it. And I was like, you looking to get scared? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, fucking no, man, let's go. And then, of course, when we left the theater, I was like, so what'd you think? And they were like, like they were very put off by this.
Yeah, it is pretty disturbing. Coming in with some more facts here. Blair Witch, 60,000. So it's just a little bit off on the 50. You're bringing in 248. So I guess technically, I'm terrible with percentages, but these three movies are, you know, at least top 10 based on budget and what they made. And for good reason, you know, especially Blair Witch. Blair Witch came at a time when the digital era was still in its infancy. People were convinced this was real, and I understand that. And then Paranormal Activity as well. It's not that I don't really think people thought it was real, but watching it felt so real. And I don't think it has aged as well as the Blair Witch Project. I watched the first Paranormal Activity now, and I'm like, it's good. But I think too,
the marketing for Paranormal Activity definitely helped though, because they were, to my memory at least, they were one of the first to do like check out all these people getting scared in the theaters.
Yep,
so
that was one of the first.
Definitely,
yeah. That was one of the first movies to do that, and it was also the first movie. I think I said this on the Paranormal Activity episode we did last year, but it was also the first movie to demand it now.
Oh yes,
because it was such a low budget movie that if you wanted it in your area, people had to ask for it, and that's how it became so big. And now it's a fucking franchise. I mean, Jesus, we're on Paranormal Activity 8 at this point. So it's entire. You know, I love seeing a movie that was made for, you know, $1 million today is pennies in the grand scheme of filmmaking. I mean, you've got these Marvel blockbusters for hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, of course they're making, you know, $1 billion or whatever. But
nothing makes me happier than watching Mandalorian come in second to Obsession.
Right? The second weekend. Yeah, and even Backrooms right now is also doing very well. Not as well as Obsession, but I believe in this opening weekend, Backrooms made about 38 million, which is insane.
Yeah, it still took number one spot. So
yeah, and he's also a YouTuber. You know, he's the creator of the Backrooms not movie shorts. He did not create the lore behind the Backrooms. That was a 4chan like a post in 2019 that kind of, you know, set up the whole Backrooms, but then he came in 2022, 4 years ago, and made all these videos, and then now we are here getting a Backrooms movie. But I just think I'm so excited for Currybarker because not only is he doing another film coming up very soon, which I believe is already in
Already
production,
done filmed.
or it's done. It's
Yep.
done. Oh shit. Okay. See, I didn't realize that. I thought he was just working on it, but it is called Anything But Ghosts. It's in okay, yeah, it's in post okay, at least according to IMDb, they're not always like right on the money every time, but it's in post-production, scheduled to release in 2027, and then he's also helming the A24 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is interesting because that is so not his horror. If you've watched the stuff you've seen on YouTube, and I'm beyond interested to see his take on a literal
Wants to
classic
put his
film.
hands in A Nightmare on Elm Street too, and I'm like, you'd be fucking stupid to not let him.
At this point, yeah. To be fair, though, if it came down to it, because I've mentioned this before, Mike Flanagan a while back, there was a back when it was Twitter or whatever. He says someone said like we need a new Freddy movie, and Flanagan was like, I have the perfect pitch, like put me in, coach. So I would like to see Flanagan's version, but I'm like, seeing how Currybarker's going, I don't know his version. I don't know.
Let him team up.
I don't think. Oh my God! Okay, let it be a Mike Flanagan produced, Currybarker directed Nightmare on Elm Street. I won't even make it out of the theater because I will be deceased. I will die in my seat, a happy man. But his upcoming career at this point, I mean, I don't think this guy is going to stop. He's going to be, he is essentially the next Jordan Peele, the next Zach Kreger. He is swinging out of the gate with Obsession. And you're right, I haven't heard one single bad review on it. Of course, if you go to Letterboxd and you want to search through the bad reviews, you'll see them. But on social media, on reviews, everyone's like, nah, this is the movie for this year. And I couldn't agree more. It is absolutely incredible.
Everybody keeps talking about the Oscars, and although I think they're a joke, I still like to see representation, and I think that Focus Features would drop the ball to not submit it, honestly, even if it didn't win anything, because this could be, everybody likes with Sinners and whatnot and Weapons last year. I'm not arguing that they're not horror, but this
Right.
would, like, a movie like this that is straight up horror would be a
Yeah.
massive win at the Oscars compared to something like Sinners, where I'm like, well, it was a drama with some horror sprinkled in, and I loved it, don't get me wrong, but this is straight horror. This would be like a Friday the 13th being Oscar nominated and worthy.
Yeah, and when you think about it too, or let me back up here. They need to submit it. Screenplay, director, feature, but they really, really, I need. I think her name is Indy Navarrete, who played Nikki. If she's not nominated, I'm gonna fucking riot, because I already rioted when Toni Collette was not even nominated for her performance in Hereditary, because that was one of the most just fucking amazing performances of the past 10 years in any fucking genre. So if she doesn't at least get a nomination, I riot, because but it does seem the Oscars are taking horror movies a little bit more seriously. And you know why? It's probably because they're required to actually watch these fucking movies now. They made that a requirement, I think, a couple years back, because before, you didn't have to watch the movie. You could just vote. Terrible system.
Let's be real. If they include stuff like they did last year, Sinners, and stuff that actually people cared about, it gets more viewership for them.
Exactly. And there was also another one, I think it was Frankenstein, that won for costuming.
Yes, that is
design.
true. I forgot about Frankenstein.
So you had three movies in the genre winning Oscars, which was absolutely incredible. So my hope for the future is that the Oscars takes them more seriously, and I just don't understand why they don't. It's such a genre that is overlooked, and I don't understand the reason for it. Of course, I'm a horror fanatic, so I'm a bit biased here with my opinions on it.
To play the opposite card, I can totally understand why for years they wouldn't have paid attention, because it was niche. I mean, obviously you had stuff like Silence of the Lambs got nominated and won.
Get Out got
Get Out.
best screenplay,
Yeah.
and I think there's only been 3 total. It was Silence of the Lambs, Get Out, and I think there was one more. But I mean, the fucking Oscars have been going on for, I think this is year 97, and it took till like 1992
Oh,
to get any sort of
and they've
win.
still overlooked countless amount of quote unquote intelligent horror, if that's what you want to call it, as
Right.
far as, being Oscar bait.
Right. And I think we're moving into a time now where it's going to be taken more seriously, because even if people don't like the movie, like if you don't like Obsession, you I would not believe you if you said Indy Navarrete gave a bad performance.
Oh
There's
yeah.
no deny. Some things you can't deny. If you didn't like Obsession, that's fine. I get it. Whatever. It's not going to be for everyone, but you cannot deny the powerhouse that Indy Navarrete is. And this was her first horror movie. She's a pretty amateur actor when it comes to her filmography on Letterboxd. She hasn't done a lot. So for her to do this, my God, I just was floored by how she was able to switch emotions. Oh my God, like just transitioning from one to another that quickly. It was incredible. Like that is,
The frowny face gets me every time I see a picture of it, because I'm like, how is she even frowning like that? Like, I can't even mimic the way
I
she
can't
just her face just slumps.
just
Yeah.
yeah, it's like slumps. And I was like, oh God, this is gonna be bad. Oh, this is gonna be bad. So I think we've done a lot of kind of dancing around the movie. I say we kind of
Yeah, we
get
should
into
probably
it
finally
here.
get into it.
Probably should finally get into it. I obviously the comedic chops are there. That's kind of how a lot of horror movies start. You know, there's some lightness to it, and that's how this starts. It's just a group of friends hanging out. They're drinking, they're doing trivia and all this stuff. And you can see Currybarker's influence and Cooper's influence on the comedy. I think all the comedy hit when it was there.
It was absolute
And
perfection in this, because like you said, a lot of it comes off as more just lightheartedness before we actually get into it with the, like obviously at the very, very end is like a few like straight up like jokes, but
yeah, there is some at the end, but this has such a natural progression, and Bear is in this weird spot where he really likes Nikki. Nikki is, I wouldn't necessarily say. I mean, I would. Is he friend zoned? Are we gonna say he's friend zoned? Is that where he's at in his life with Nikki?
I think it's supposed to be that he feels that way. Yeah, I guess. See, that's the great part about this too, is so much interpretation, because like I look at this friend group and I see my shitty friend group from high school. Everyone here sucks. You got people friend zoning even though they know they like them, everything. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, that's what most people would call it.
Yeah. So let's just call it friend zoned. They have been best friends for quite some time, and they're always there for each other. And this is the kind of dichotomy between man and woman, right? Some men with that prolonged relationship with a woman will, it's not uncommon for a man to develop feelings for someone when you've been so close with that person. But on the other end, the woman just views them as a really, really good friend because they have that connection. And it's not it's an emotional connection, but it's not a loving, it's not like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. They have a relationship based on trust, based on communication, and based on the good times they have when they hang out. There's no real love, like I said, kind of coming from Indy Navarrete outside of how much she loves him as a friend. So he's into her very much. And of course, I can't remember what he breaks a fucking rock or something, breaks her necklace,
the
and goes to get her. Yeah, so he breaks or someone breaks the necklace, and being the good friend that he is, although I do think he had ulterior motives, because he had that conversation with the guy who Coop, I can't remember his name. Let me look up his name real quick. Cooper plays in Obsession. Well, I had it up there. Let me go to Obsession. So Cooper is, Currybarker's like partner in crime, and he plays. Wow, how far down in the list is he? Oh, there he is. He plays Ian. So Ian is there, and I think it's the opening scene where Bear is telling, who we think is Nikki, how much he loves her. And then Ian's like, that is not going to work. You've got to reel this shit back. And of course, the lady he was talking to was the waitress at the restaurant that they were at. So clearly he's had these feelings for some times. And I think getting her that, replacement fucking gemstone or whatever the hell it was his way of initiating the conversation he wanted to have with her of like, hey, I have these feelings for you. What do we do about it? But then of course, as fate would have it, he runs into the One Wish Willow on the back shelf of this gemstone, whatever the hippie store.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know,
like a
whatever you want to
hippie
call
gem
it.
store.
And it's just kind of like a gag item. So he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll pick it up. And he picks it up, of course. And then after he drops Nikki off at the end of the night, things didn't go the way he wanted to. He wanted to tell her, but he didn't. I guess he just didn't have the courage to. So once she goes inside, it's like, all right, I wish she loved me more than anyone in the world. Crack. And then it was such a shift from being this quirky comedy to the camera, which focuses on Nikki on her front porch, completely silhouetted with like this red light behind her. And I was like, oh God, I'm already scared. I was like, what is about to happen? Like, how quickly are we going to escalate this into violence? And it takes its time, but I think it takes its time very well with the escalation of the chaos. How do you feel about that, and where we started from and where we got to by the end? Do you feel it was a nice, consistent pace?
It was a bizarre pace. It was the choice, because you'd almost think that right off the rip would have been like her being right at the car, being like, "Hi, let me go home with you." But instead, it's this very like mixed emotions, and you're really not even sure what is happening at that moment. And
Right.
then it's not for a couple scenes later when you finally get like the montage and you see them being happy and stuff, and then the de-escalation from there.
Yeah, because she's like, why don't we go to? I think they go to her. They go to his place. He's like, oh, let me sleep in bed with you, and he's like, this is weird. What's happening here? I think he ends up sleeping on the floor. And then she does some like weird shit in her sleep. And then, yeah, eventually they do become this couple. And I love that montage because you're like, oh, I mean, I know it's a horror movie. Like, I know it's going to escalate. But you have this, it almost gives you this false hope, right? That everything's going to be okay in the end because they have this happy relationship. It's that montage. They're happy. They're feeding each other food. It's this great scene. And then after that scene, it starts to get very, very weird from there. That's the best way I can put it. I mean, things just go downhill. Like you're in a shopping cart with a fucking rocket attached to it. And her progression is just, it's kind of, oh man, it was just so satisfying to watch, but also heartbreaking
Yeah, absolutely.
at the same time because she's not in control of any of this. And that's why I think she has those personality splits, because Nikki is still in there, but she's under this spell, if you will, of having to love Bear more than anyone in the world and never wanting to separate herself from him. And I just found it to be just this interesting, like you got what you wished for, but there are some strings attached because it's not going to be exactly what you wished for in a sense. How'd you feel? You feel the same way about that? Like,
yeah,
I think it was the wording for him because he said, I want Nikki to love me more than anyone else in the world. I think if he would have rephrased it to like, I just want Nikki and I to be in love and have a good life, it's entirely possible that went a whole other direction. But that's just my speculation.
no, and you know what? There's so much speculation with that because of scenes like the shopkeeper part at the end when the dude's like, well, I can't make a wish, I already made mine. But here he is, perfectly fine. As far as we
That's
know, there's
right.
no chaos in his life. So there is so much speculation with people being like, it's the way it's worded. If, like you said, if he had just said, hey, I wish that we were, in a love or in, this comfortable relationship where things go normal. Like,
Yeah. maybe everything will be okay. And I think it is that wording that kind of fucked him up, because he got what he wanted. It's almost very much akin to, I totally got Wishmaster vibes from this
Oh,
movie, because
yeah.
Wishmaster is a series. If you don't know, there's I think 4 movies, and it's it's like I think you wish to the devil and you get what you want in the most fucked up way possible. So you're gonna get it, but it's not gonna be the way you actually wanted it to happen.
No,
So it
and
feels very
like the Wishmaster, or even like Leprechaun's a good example too, because he makes the wishes.
yeah
It's all very literal. So you
right
are going to get
exactly.
literally what you asked for, and that's what Bear got in this movie.
Yes, because she goes to every single length to make sure she is by him at all sides, doing whatever she can for him, but also standing in the corner watching him sleep. Oh my God, that scene is one of my favorite scenes of the movie, because Bear wakes up in the middle of the night and looks around the room, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that's a person, but I don't know. And then she slightly moves and you're like, oh God. And he's like,
You know what's funny?
what are you
One
doing
of the
over?
bad reviews that I read, somebody tried to shit on the lighting. One of my when I walked out of the theater and I was thinking in my head this is a 3, one of the things I did really like about it though was that he somehow captured the lighting as if our eyes were the camera. Like the way like when you wake up in a dark room and you see that silhouette, everything was fucking perfectly lit in this movie.
Yes. 100% agree. Every scene that needed to be bright and lively was bright and lively. The restaurant scene, the party scene, the beginning, but then you get to the horror elements with her standing in the corner, or her standing on the front porch was another great example, because all you would see from his perspective is that silhouette, because there's no light in front of her. It's only coming from the back, like the porch light. So no, you're totally right. I agree that the lighting was so good. And that is one of the hardest things to get right in a movie, is the lighting. I've said this so many times, and I feel like a broken record, because I've only done one fucking short film that's halfway done now. But lighting, getting my scenes lit, was the biggest struggle I had. Oh my God. And I had professional lights. Obviously, I needed more diffusers. I needed more things to bounce light off of, but we shot in a kitchen that had so many reflective surfaces. Like all of my appliances are stainless steel, so you're just seeing the light. So lighting is very important, and this movie does it in such a way that feels realistic. It feels horrifying when it needs to feel horrifying, and then when it wants to shift and feel a little bit lighter, it's so well done. And the color grading as well. I mean, I feel this film was done so well. It's almost kind of hard to believe this is a first feature film. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
I don't know who he has on his crew, but somebody knew what they were doing.
right, and like I can understand it from Jordan Peele, because one, he had Key and Peele, which was very successful. He was already, I assume, in a very good place financially before he did Get Out, and then after Get Out was a huge success, he made Monkey Paw Productions. He's got his own team. I understand his progression of filmmaking. Even Zach Kreger, I don't know how much money he got from Whitest Kids You Know, but he knew people in the industry. He worked in television for a while, so you know people, or you can get in contact with people. With Currybarker, he's a YouTuber. He's only done a couple of short films, so it's just interesting that every aspect of this film is so well done, from the acting to the cinematography to the lighting, the sound design, everything about it. I mean, that's why I gave it a 5-star. I mean, in my opinion, there was no flaw. And I have 2 systems for 5-star ratings. One is based off fun factor, Chopping Mall, 5 stars. Doesn't deserve 5 stars. It's a 5-star time. Obsession, 5 stars. Obsession, because it's just one of the greatest horror movies to come out of the 2020s, and you have to look at it at the perspective of a first-time filmmaker and how impressive this is. Plus, I'm going to harken back to that 4.2 out of 5 rating. It is remaining solid at a 4.2 out of 5, which is crazy for a horror movie.
Let's see it go up.
Yeah, can we get a 4.3? Honestly, it's happened before where a movie's gone up like a point or two, but I think it is incredible for Curry Barker. I think he is on this path now, and I'm obviously very excited to see what he does next. But another thing he does very well too is the violence in this movie. There's not as much violence as I was expecting, but when there's violence, god damn. I mean, what's going on in this? Did he have a okay childhood? Is he suffering from some traumatic memories? What's going on with Curry Barker?
I have to wonder with him because everything I've watched, he's sitting there with his rose-tinted glasses because he's an albino or fucking pretty damn close. And he's so chill, and he makes it seem like this was a nothing story that he just wrote out of his ass. And I'm like, there's no fucking way you weren't influenced by people in your life, something that happened in your life, dude. And it's okay. You know what? If those are your dark secrets, those are your dark secrets, and you don't have to share them with the world. But you can't sit here and be like, yeah, yeah, fuck it. Like, that's like everything I watch with him. He's just so chill and relaxed. Like, this was nothing to him.
You know, I mean, a lot of the times with horror directors, they work through a lot of their issues with filmmaking. I mean, one of the biggest examples I had came up on an episode recently where it was the director. Oh, yes. It was a movie called The Demon, and it was an indie horror movie for this year. And I really liked it. And I actually talked to the director because he reached out to me on through Instagram and said, hey, thank you for the review. And we just talked back and forth. And it was actually something traumatic happened to him. I'm not going to put his information out there, but the movie was his way of processing it. Yeah. And he said he came out the other side just like this completely different person. So it's entirely possible. You know, he's done a couple horror shorts, Curry Barker. Maybe all the stuff that he had experienced or anything hard that he was going through, he got through doing Obsession. And that's why maybe he has this sense of I don't care, or just this sense of clarity, because horror is a way to escape. You know what I mean? It's like safe anxiety because it's not real. So I think maybe that's and again, it's just speculation. Maybe he had, some stuff happen, or maybe he's just that chill of a dude. I don't know.
I mean,
he's so new to the scene.
His comedy stuff even being out there is like he's pretty chill in most of the things. I haven't seen a lot. I have a friend who's like obsessed, and no, that was not a pun intended. And he'll be like, oh, dude, you don't think he's funny? And he'll send me like his videos, and I'm like, it's not that it's not funny. It's just not hilarious to me. It's just like his brand of comedy, at least from the shorts that I've seen, isn't really for me. It's entertaining for sure. I could sit down with some popcorn and watch them all, but I'm not gut busting laughing like a lot of people are.
Well, and that's the thing too with some of his comedy. I compare it very much akin to Tim Robinson, who does I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. His type of humor is a very specific type of humor for a very niche audience. And it's not humor that works for everyone. I am one of very few people outside of my buddy Spencer, who's a co-host on this podcast. And we love his comedy, but that's kind of how Curry Barker's comedy is. It's kind of this absurdist, over-the-top, just humor. And, that's not going to work for everyone. For me, it's right up my alley. I just love goofy shit and awkward conversations because I can live vicariously through those people because I'm not dealing with that awkward situation.
That's fair. And I really do need to deep dive because I'm sure there's plenty of his comedy stuff that would hit for me. Because to be fair, at least like the filming style and it gives me Whitest Kids You Know vibes. And I fucking loved that show. Like, dude, before anybody knew who Zach Kreger was, like when they said he was going to do Barbarian, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I love that show. I can't believe he's going to make a horror movie. And everybody else is like, who is this? And I'm like, dude, I'll kill you and wear your boots. Like, Whitest Kid You Know is like one of the funniest sketch comedies of all time.
The fucking gallon of PCP, man. That's one of my favorite goddamn bits. He's like, oh, it comes in liquid form. He's like, you've just got a gallon of it? Yeah, I just got a gallon of it. I'm actually going to pick up my kids later. He's like, oh, you're picking up children. And since we're on the topic of that, I'm blanking on his name. Was it Trevor, the one that passed away? Yeah. was it Barbarian for him, or maybe one of them, I think it was Weapons, was actually him processing the death of his best friend Trevor.
Yeah, it was Weapons.
That's why it was Weapons. That's why there's one homage I know for sure. It's the 7 hot dogs that that are shown, like it's an overhead where it's the gay couple and they're having 7 hot dogs. That wasn't just like, oh, because they're gay. There was a bit where Trevor Moore does he's like a doctor, and they talk about how this guy has 7 hot dogs a day. So that was him working through the loss of his friend. So I really feel like these comedy guys.
Have you ever seen Miss March?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
Okay. Just making sure, because I'm like, I would have loved to have seen them do a horror movie together, and it's unfortunate that could never happen now. But.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. I would have loved to seen Trevor in maybe do the Bill Skarsgård role of Barbarian. Although, no shade to Bill Skarsgård, he was great, absolutely. But it would have been nice to see Trevor. So I think it's weirdly cathartic for these guys who are in comedy, maybe have something just traumatic happen to them, and then they work through it through a horror movie. I mean, that's it's beautiful to me, because it's. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. It's just beautiful to me. It's beautiful. So, and I think Currybarker does a great job of creating discomfort, especially through the way he frames shots in this movie and the atmosphere. Every quiet scene feels like, when there are quiet moments in this movie, that's the most. That's when I was on edge the most. There's like this lingering sense that something is emotionally off before it just fully fucking explodes. And creating an atmosphere in a horror movie like that is not easy. It is a very hard thing to craft. Because you have to remember, when you're filming it, it's one thing, but when you are in the editing, you're in the back half of it, you got to find the right music to go with it. Should this scene be quiet? Should we have a loud, so the whole process of putting it all together is such an intense process that I feel he created the scene so well while he was shooting it, that in the back end, they were like, I don't, this again is speculation. It's like in the back end, they were like, let's just let this linger. Like, let's not even have any score here and see what happens. And I'm sure they tested it back and forth. Like, let's put some stuff in here, see if it works. Oh, it works better quiet. Let's just leave it quiet. Because those quiet moments for me, like, again, I'll go back to Bear waking up in bed and her just sitting in the corner. There's nothing happening with score. It's dead silent, and it's fucking horrifying. Did you find yourself more uneasy in the quieter scenes or the kind of explosive scenes?
No, I would say the quieter scenes for sure. But it's funny, because until you mentioned it, I didn't even really notice when I was focused enough into the movie, especially during that right. scene, that it didn't even dawn on me that there wasn't a score during that scene.
Yeah, and it's I just find it so interesting when sometimes the scariest part of a horror movie is when it's quiet, because usually, if you're in a jump scare movie, like what was the one like Passenger, I watched that recently and I really liked it. From the trailer alone, you're like, this is going to be jump scares. And it was. And even in those moments, when a jump scare is coming, the quiet moment leading up to the jump scare is almost sometimes scarier than the jump scare, because it's coming, but you don't know when. So that sense of anticipation just lingers. And I don't really, it's been a week or two since, or probably about 2 weeks since I've seen this. I don't remember there being any necessarily jump scares outside of the awkward movement that Nikki was doing, which was so fucking unsettling. I don't know how they did that, if it was clever editing with how the way she was kind of moving, very janky. I think that was probably the most unnerving part of the movie, when she moved like an otherworldly being.
Yeah, she moved like the possessed soul that she was. I have to wonder if that was clever editing. Like, if it gave me vibes of like a jumping VCR, in the sense of like, if she had just made the movements, it probably would have been really easy in post to just go, because everything else is obviously still, right, with the exception of her. The only jump scare that I can think of off the top of my head, because now it's been 3 weeks for me since I watched it, is when he goes to get out of the bed and she just screams, "Stay."
Oh God, yeah. Oh. And it's funny too, because there wasn't even any score behind that. She just screamed and you're like, ah, like that was horrifying. And And I think one of the most unsettling scenes in the entire movie was when he tried to sneak out of bed to do something. I can't remember what it was, but he was sneaking out of bed, I think, to go meet his friend Sarah, who was the one that was interested in him. And he's almost out the door. And it's Nikki. Like, it's Nikki talking from her subconscious saying, just kill me. Please just kill me. I don't want to live like this. And it hit me on this just emotional level of like, oh, fuck, she's still in there. It's almost like Get Out in the Sunken Place, right? Yeah. Like where you sink down, you're seeing this kind of from like a third person perspective, but you're not in control of it. And she's still in there, and she's like, please just take me out. I do not want to be here anymore. That was probably one of the most unsettling bits of like from this year that, oh man, that did not make me feel good.
So like, now that I am aware, and I will say the one thing, I don't get a fucking movie pass, so I have to pay every time I go see a theater movie. So I was really hoping to catch this again on digital tomorrow, but alas. Somebody pointed out, and I don't know if you caught this when you saw it, at the very end, she is in Sarah's clothes. She's scalped her and wearing her hair. And I did not catch the scalping part because I was like, why is she just naked in the chair? Like, that's really weird. But somebody pointed out that she had taken the hair, and I was like, oh, okay. Because they didn't really like, you don't see like a scalp or whatever. Like, they didn't really like focus on the fact that she just straight up, and then like the tattoos were drawn on that were Sarah's. And
that was an interesting scene because you're right, they don't focus on it. It's more of a panning shot around the chaos, and you just see, I mean, you have to assume it's Sarah because she's got no face. And yeah, she was completely naked. There was like a full frontal shot of her, and then it pans around. I did not notice she was wearing the hair, but I did notice she was wearing the clothes. So that's interesting now that I'll have to pick up on that on the second watch. But since we're here, let's just talk about it because the ending is, my God, I didn't like it's like, the film's going so good and you have to wonder when you get to a certain point, okay, we're wrapping up. How are we going to wrap this up? And I try not to speculate, and I try to turn my brain off, but I was thinking, I'm like, what's going to happen? And my mind just went blank because I legitimately had no idea where we were going and how this was going to end. So Bear, of course, goes back to the store where he got the One Wish Willow. And they even throw a bit of comedy in there, which was it was a great little relief for a second because I think they needed that relief. Yeah, you needed that relief before the atrocity you were about to see. And he's like, oh, they're on the counter over here. So he grabs another one, and then he tries to unwish the wish, but you can't do that. You can't unwish it. You've already made that wish. It's too late. You can't even wish for something else. It's like it literally a One Wish Willow. You get one and that's it. So of course he goes to Ian and he explains the situation. Ian's like, whatever, dude, this doesn't make any sense. So he's like, please just unwish my wish and we can go back to normal. And Ian, not being the best friend, but also I would have a hard time believing this guy as well. He wishes for $1 billion, and then what happens? It just starts fucking raining money. Like it just starts, and then Bear just gets on his knees and he's like, "What have you done? Like what? This was my chance. Sarah's dead. Who else am I going to go to explain this situation? This was it." So he goes home defeated. And that's when he walks into seeing Sarah just completely battered to shit and naked. And then she's there being crazy as always. And I can't remember. Oh, that's right. He goes into the bathroom and she's pounding on the door. And I thought it was going to cut to like a Hereditary shot of her smashing her head against it. I was honestly expecting that. And Bear's like, he has no other option than to kill himself to release Nikki of this possession. And that's what he does. He swallows, he tries to shoot himself and he couldn't do it. So he just swallows a bunch of pills, goes out there to Nikki, and then fucking Ian busts in. He's like, you're never going to believe this. I got $1 million. Bang! And he gets shot and he's dead. And then, Bear dies in Nikki's arms. and then her coming to, because Nick, she almost killed, I think she almost
Goes to
kills
kill
herself
herself,
too,
yeah.
right? She tries to do it. But then when everything, it's just this snap happens, and now that Bear has died, she is released from this, and she looks around, and all she can do is scream. And I was like, that is like Romeo and Juliet, the Mist level tragedy ending, because now she has to, like, how are we explaining this to the cops?
You're
the only
not.
one.
That's and the original ending was her actually killing herself.
Really?
So, and then I can't remember if it was a test audience thing or what, but they decided to change it, and I
Probably
was
for good.
kind of,
Yeah.
I guess the ending threw me for a loop, because I was like, can we either get the generic happy ending where the wish is made and everything goes back to normal, or can
Yeah.
everybody just be dead? Why did this poor fucking girl
Yeah.
have to suffer? And to be fair, now look, I'm not trying to sugarcoat, or not sugarcoat, that's not the right word, but I'm not trying to like whatever with people. Air is the villain of this movie. But
Yes.
as I stated way long ago, I had a shitty friend group, and very similar to this one. And let me tell you right now, everyone in this movie is a fucking piece of shit. His friend is an asshole. He's
Yep.
guiding him in the totally wrong direction. He's doing it on purpose. He wants Nikki for himself, whether it's for the casual hookup that they've been doing for 2 years or because he does want to get closer to her. I mean, I can't, I'm not the only one. Like, everybody's known shitty people like this. But I also don't really sympathize with Nikki. I do in the sense of like, oh, it sucks that she's like under this spell, but she was
Yeah.
no fucking girl hangs around a guy for 7 years without realizing this dude has feelings for me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I do
And then
feel
the
they
same
were
thing
kind
with
of,
the Sarah girl that liked him. If you liked Bear, why would you sit there for 2 years and be like, yeah, they've been hooking up for 2 years? Wouldn't you like have told him like many moons ago? And this is all very nitpicky. Like, I'm not trying to rip it apart, because but I've been there. I've done that. I know that shitty friend group. Even the people at the party that we never even get introduced to, probably pieces of shit.
most likely assholes. Yeah, but it's so I can speak from experience on one part of this. There was, now this was only a hookup once or twice. It wasn't an ongoing thing that I kept from my friend, but there was a girl or a guy that my friend liked, and she just wasn't into him. And years later down the road, me and her reconnected. Like, I think we met at a bar somewhere. Like, oh shit, hey, how are you doing? And then we eventually ended up hooking up twice. I still have never told that friend because I can't bear to bear. Yeah, I can't like bear to tell him that because he was so into her for so long. I mean, of course, at this point, it's probably fine. It's been like a decade, but I had to hold on to that because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't do it maliciously. It just fucking happened. Like,
Yeah.
we did not. This was not a planned thing. So in Ian's instance, he's absolutely a dick for hooking up with her for 2 years, trying to get Bear to tell her his feelings. And then I feel Sarah's just in the odd place of not wanting to break up the friend group, because that is immediately going to break everybody apart. So it's like, it's this weird position everyone is in except for Ian. He's probably the biggest piece of shit, which is funny because Cooper is like just as funny as Currybarker in the skits. So I love how they made him this just straight up asshole. But it's that friend group dynamic of like, we all have a great time together. What do we do? But I think Nikki and Bear are both in the wrong because, yes, there's no way she is completely blind to the fact that he has some sort of feelings for her. But I also blame Bear because he is doing a lot of things for her in the anticipation, in the hope that maybe she'll come around. So they're kind of both in the wrong,
For sure, yeah.
honestly.
And that's,
And then the only,
I mean, but
it's
that's
interesting.
part of, like, I think that's it go back to the layers thing. I think that's why so many people are
Yeah,
connecting with this, because everybody knows somebody similar to somebody in this movie in some form.
right.
Whether they know them currently or in the past, they can look back when they were in their 20s and be like, "Oh yeah, my friend was a douchebag too who told me not to pour my heart out when that may have just been what she needed to hear, even if it was
Right.
him pouring his heart out and then her saying, I'm really not interested. Maybe you should hook up with Sarah because that's literally what I told you before you made your wish." Essentially, I mean, that's what
That's
she was
true.
trying to insinuate at the very least, is like, hey, Sarah likes you.
Yeah, really, the only person I had sympathy for was Sarah because she was just this innocent bystander that got her head smashed into a steering wheel. I think I counted 8 times, and I know I told you this, but he actually, Curry Barker, Focus Features was like, hey, to avoid an NC-17, you have to cut 7 head smashes. And I was like, 7? There was like already 7 in there. So I really hope whenever we do get some form of a release, there's an extended unrated, whatever you want to call it. And then I know you said Curry actually wants to do a proper director's cut, because I want to see that full scene in all of its glory with the full amount of head smashes,
I,
because I thought the head smashes in there were enough, but
but
7
seven
more.
more. Yeah.
Fuck.
I want
Holy
you.
shit.
I want the raw footage for this movie. Whatever you filmed and pieced together, I want. I don't care if it's 6 hours long. I want to know other parts of this story that you took out, not what you get to choose. Give me the raw footage.
And that's what I think that Focus. I think Focus will really let him put together and assemble a full length director's cut. And I just because of how well it's doing, it's gonna do well physically on physical media. I know it will, with how good it did in theaters and how many passionate people there are out there like you and I and my buddy Michael and Spencer about owning things. I think it will do really well. Again, Blu-ray, sure. 4K, great. 4K Steelbook, I fucking take all of my
Yeah.
money.
Umbrella
So
hard
I just
box, please. Empty my
let's
wallet.
go. Empty my wallet. It would be great if a boutique label picked this up, honestly. But, if it doesn't and we just get a standard Sony release, it's fine, I suppose. But Sony has been doing a lot of 4K steelbooks. Point in case, 28 years later, Bone Temple, fucking, they only did that on a 4K UHD steelbook. And I didn't buy the first movie. I just bought it in 4K because I was like, oh, I'll just get the next one in 4K. So now I'm like, okay, I'm a stickler for matching. So now I got to go buy the steelbook of the first one, then buy the steelbook of the second
Dude,
one. So if we're lucky,
Sony already thinks they're boutique because you said it, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that they want $40 for a brand new copy of From Until Dawn on 4K.
which is nuts
Yeah, because a
for a
standard a
4K.
standard 4K should never be more than $29.98 at Walmart. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even Send Help, I think, was like a 32 or 37. And I'm like, guys, nothing has changed. It's all UHD. Okay. We don't need to be putting anything out that's more than $30 for a regular 4K release. $40 Steelbook. All right. That's
I'll
about my
bite.
limit.
That's
But
yeah.
yeah, I'll bite. So I do hope this movie, let it stay in theaters, let it ride that cash cow, get it a physical release. Let Curry Barker do some sort of director's cut, unrated cut, whatever. Put those 7 fucking head smashes back in. Put whatever the fuck else you had to cut out to get in, or to cut out to put in. Like I mean, this is gonna easily be in my top 5. We do a top 10 at the end of the year, but I'm saying I know this is gonna be in my top 5.
Might as well narrow
just
it
like
down.
you.
This is going to be in my top 3.
There you go. I'll say the same. It's just, yeah, this is one of those movies that much like Hereditary, I went into that being like, I just had a feeling. I was like, I feel like this is going to be good. How good? I don't know how good, but I know at minimum I'm going to walk away satisfied. And I walked away from this just with my mind absolutely melted. And I am going to try and see it one more time in theaters before it's gone, just because I just love watching movies in theaters. I've seen Undertone 3 times in theaters. I saw a Hokum twice in theaters. I've just been revisiting horror movies in theaters because it's like, fuck it, I want to see it on the big screen.
I didn't even get to see it once before it left our theater.
Well, I went to see it, and then because my wife couldn't, and I was like, "Well, I got, like I was like, I'd like to go see it." She's like, "Yeah, just go, it's fine." And then we made a date to go out and watch
Fair
it, so
enough.
I went and watched it with her. And then Undertone was me by myself, me with Spencer, and then me with my wife because I was like, "I'll watch this movie 16 fucking times. I don't give a shit."
Where's the
So
release
yeah,
for that?
that's what I'm wondering. It made about 22 million. I assume on a very small budget, so it didn't make a lot. But I mean, it's an A24, and they
Oh,
usually do a
okay.
pretty good job. They usually do a pretty good job of releasing their movies. I know Backrooms is going to get
Yeah,
a
I mean,
release,
like, I
whether
don't
it's one
need
of
it in
their.
my hand now, but it just made me think, like, wow, I haven't even heard about when Undertone is coming to physical.
Yeah, and that came out in January, February, sometime prior to March. So yeah, we need a physical of that. But I mean, I think that's all I've got on Obsession. We covered as much as we could. This is kind of what you get from the no format style reviews here. We just kind of bounce around and talk
I
about what we
mean,
like.
I
But
could
I get
go on for, I mean, just keep throwing shit at me and I'll keep bouncing back. But we don't need to do that either. I'm just saying, like, I could go on because I've forgotten theories that I've brought up to my wife or things that we've said. But yeah, no, nothing's topping this. I'm gonna let
yeah,
you know right now, this is probably my number one movie for the year. Like, there might be something that
it's
I'm more popcorn entertained by,
right.
but nothing's gonna be, dude, this is masterclass. He should be fucking
Yeah,
teaching people how to make horror movies.
I need to insert a clip of you are watching a master at work right here, but this is a video, so that might not work. But I'm going to set it up just in case I can.
You are watching a master at work.
Okay, you are watching literally a master at work, and I am I can't wait to follow this guy's career and see where the fuck he goes. And if anyone's wondering why I keep looking over here, this is my iPad with my notes because if I don't have some form of notes, my brain will go
No,
haywire.
that's fair.
But
I hope,
yeah.
I
So
mean, I hope he stays on point and on track. And it would be, I mean, look at somebody like Spielberg, started with Jaws, and he's a household name now. Who's to say that
yeah,
he couldn't become the next household name?
I'm very hopeful. Coming off the heels of Peel and Kreger, and I feel like he's just kind of next. I think it's his time to shine. You come out with a banger like this, and this is the only issue with coming out with a movie this strong, is it's going to be really hard going into his next films to not have high expectations. So that is the only issue. But I said that with Zach Kreger, and then he came out with Weapons, and I was like, fucking 2 for 2. Holy shit. So I just have to remind myself when I go
Yeah.
see Anything But Ghosts. Okay,
And Anything But Ghost is a straight horror comedy too. So that's something else that people are going to
Oh,
need to take into consideration.
okay. So that's a
Yeah,
okay.
that is
So does this
actually
one?
that is actually billed as a horror comedy.
Okay, so then the tone is going to be completely different, and I love that. Perfect. Then we're already good. We're already good. So yeah, Obsession from 2025, released 2026. If you haven't seen it yet, and
Who
you've
are
watched
you?
this, well, shame on you for watching this. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, go see it again. Give this film some more money. Go support indie films, go support your local theater, go do whatever you have to do. Like I said, I'm going to try and catch it one more time before it disappears, and then I don't know when I'm going to get a physical of it, because even when it releases to streaming or digital that you can buy, I want to fucking own it physically. I don't want to own it digitally.
No,
So
no. I'll
yeah.
take the digital copy that hopefully comes with my physical copy.
Yeah, I'll take that, but I want it physically. So before we wrap up here, as is customary, Derek, where can everybody find you on social media in case they'd like to give you a follow?
You can find me on TikTok, maybe because they're treating me like a fucking bot right now. They have been for the past 2.5 weeks. But yeah, I'm on TikTok as HFK's Movie House. I'm on Instagram as HFK48. I'm on Letterboxd as, is it HFK?
Horror film kid 48.
Okay. And
you almost got them all this
oh,
time.
and
I'm so proud of you.
And I'm on YouTube as Horror Film Kid 48.
There you go. Go give him a follow. Always love seeing him pop up in my feed. You're always doing something I'm never expecting, and it's always fun. Everybody listening here should know where to follow us. We're on every form of social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Threads, at Frightmares Podcast. You want to check me out on Letterboxd, I am Dr. Proctor. I'm not sure what the next movie we're going to do for YouTube is. I know we did The Mummy. We did this one. Maybe we'll do. I know for a fact someone's gonna be doing Resident Evil with me. I have no idea who. Maybe we'll get the whole fucking gang together. I don't know. But we are gonna try and do more of these video reviews because with the podcast we have a theme each month, and it's hard for me to just put in a movie that doesn't fit with the theme. Next year's gonna be changed up a little bit, so there'll be more flexibility with what we review, but for now I think we're just going to cover the big ones that we have to talk about, like Obsession. I mean, you reached out to me and we were like, we have to talk, let's collaborate. I'm like, let's do a YouTube video.
I was so glad that you hadn't already decided to collab with somebody else, because I was going to be like, well, sneak me in, let's do a fucking three-way or whatever.
This was perfect because I was like, yes, this is more content for the YouTube, and the Mummy one did pretty well, so I assume this one, now that I know the kind of the algorithm and how to tag things and how to I went into more options for the first time recently, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many things I can click that will help direct this to the right audience.
Well, maybe I should do some deep digging too, because I've been working on my YouTube as well.
So yeah, Obsession, go check it out again. Follow Currybarker, go check out his YouTube shorts if you haven't. Go check out his comedy. I'll definitely send you a couple of some of my favorite routines that he's done. But until next time, guys, go check out the podcast in the time being, and until the next video review, stay tuned and stay spooky.